The community of Savanna City, where two elderly women were due to receive homes today, is angry this afternoon, saying that the beneficiaries will not move into those properties because they too have been on a waiting list for housing for years. Nonkululeko Nqulwana's story was first highlighted on Newzroom Afrika, you may recall, when we found her staying in a car in Orange Farm. The housing department then intervened and offered her and another elderly woman homes. Well, the Midvaal MMC for Housing, Mokete Motsamai, says he'll now meet with the Department of Human Settlements and affected councillors in order to find a solution to the problem.
Normally, before every allocation, there's a process that is followed, and the process involves the municipality as well as the department coming together to make sure that we plan for such an allocation. So in the past, how we normally do it, we would have the Department of Human Settlement coming to us, and then we convene the councillors that are affected in this case, that they are able to go back to their communities. But in this case, because it was special cases, I'm informed by the officials from the department that it was cases that were identified by both the minister as well as the MEC. That is why they could not follow the process and they felt it was an urgent process. However, I think as we can see, there's many community members that are not happy with the process, which is justifiable. And I fully understand what they are saying, because obviously they would also be surprised to see people just occupying houses, whereas as councillors there's never been any communication with them. So the oversight, I think, was on part of the department in terms of following that process. But for now, we have agreed that on Wednesday I'm going to meet with both the department as well as the councillors that are affected in this case, so that we can properly plan. Following that, we will then come back to the communities and also have engagements with them so that at least they are on board.
Let's get you more on that story. Bring in our reporter Zikhona Tshona, who's live for us in Orange Farm this lunchtime. Zikhona, and I'd imagine a lot of disappointment there.
Certainly not the ending that both pensioners would have wanted. We arrived here very early, and to find Nonkululeko Nqulwana had already started packing her things in preparation for her to leave. When we got to Savanna City, the ribbons were there, the keys were there. All that what needed to happen was for them to be handed over to the two pensioners. But unfortunately, the community blocked that from happening, saying that they have also been in the housing waiting list for years, and they cannot allow a situation where people that they don't know from that area are now getting allocated houses. As you've heard, the Gauteng housing department saying that it will make sure that it does address the issue, and it's assured both women that they will be allocated homes very soon, in the coming week, in fact. But Makhulu Nqulwana is here with me now. As you can see behind me, the things that she had already packed in preparation for her to move into her house. Mama, ayiphela ngale ndlela besifuna iphele ngayo namhlanje unjani?
Hayi, ndiva ubuhlungu ngoba namhlanje bendinethemba lokuthi ndizawufumana isidima sokuba ngumama waseAfrika, ndifumane indlu, ndifumane ithayithili, ndifumane umhlaba, ndazi ukuthi indawo yam lena. Andiphathekanga kakuhle. Into eyenzeke eSavane ayisinto enhle, uyabona. Nabantwana bam, ngabantwana bam labaya, ngabantwana abancinci. Ndive buhlungu gqitha.
Mama, kubantu bebe-organize yonke le nto ungafuna uthini, ngoba kaloku nimke phaa nikhala bengekho mnandi ubona ninjeya?
Into endiyicelayo, ndicela ukuthi izinto zabo bazenze, bazi-organize ngendlela ekahle, erayithi. Ndicela ugovernment impela makeke ayijonge nalaa nto ibiyenzeka eSavane phaya, uyabona. Ngoba ngani thina sibadala, uyazi, ndicishe ngawa yi-high blood, uyabona. Xa ngibona aba bantu abahlali bapha benza laa nto bebeyenza, uyazi, ndiyacela ukuthi anizame ukuthi niyosinikeza izindlu ngendlela ekahle. Ndiyacela kakhulu.
Ungaziva ukhuselekile ke ngokuba unobuyiselwa kwaphaya eSavana?
Ngoba ndihluphekile eSavana ndizawuya, kodwa kakade kwasekuqaleni bekungasiyona indawo bendiyifuna. Ndamxelela ukhehla ukuthi andifuni ukuya eSavana,
ngoba
bendingafuni kwandawo nje around Orange Farm, ngoba ndihlukumezeke kakhulu.
bathini ngoku kuni bathethile nani ngoku ekugqibeleni bathini ngoku zithini izithembiso
ngoku isithembiso asitshilo unantsika uthe uzawuthetha nabahlali and then athethe nabahlali and then ngolwesithathu thina masize sizothatha izitshixo and then emveni kwaloko ke bazawubona ukuthi basithatha nini ukusisa ezindlini uyabona kodwa ke impela ayi akange ndiphatheke kakuhle.
Nonkululeko Nqulwana there. She was very excited this morning in preparation or ahead of that move into her home. She's been waiting for an RDB house since 1996. That's 26 years since she applied for an RDB house, and she was hoping that today that long wait will be over, but it was not to be. And on Monday, she celebrates her 75th birthday, and she was hoping to celebrate her birthday in her new home. But sadly, it's not to be. But they've been promised by the authorities that this matter will be resolved soon. As I've mentioned, when they left there, they left with social workers. Both of the elderly women were inconsolable. Both of them broke into tears given the amount of anger and frustration they were met with when they arrived in Savanna City.
Zikhona, when you first brought us the story a few months ago, this particular elderly woman was sleeping in a car. I know you're saying that there's a commitment now to address what happened today, but where will she sleep tonight?
So following the coverage of the story, then authorities got involved as well as the community, and the community in fact built her this temporary structure because at the time both the Social Development Department as well as the Gauteng Human Settlements Department and the Colin Mashawana Foundation had promised that they will work and do their best to make sure that both women actually in fact get houses. So now that promise seemingly hanging in the balance, the Colin Mashawana Foundation was already on the scene. They had in fact brought in furniture which could not come into that area. The beds were bought, there were couches bought in preparation of the two elderly women moving into their homes. That is the car that Nonkululeko Nqulwana was living out of here in Orange Farm. It's still parked here. It's owned by the nephew, and as you can see around it are her belongings. She's also an artist, so some of the artworks that she's produced from recyclable goods, for example, are also out here. So until the move is secured, until that the Gauteng Human Settlements Department can guarantee that the two women will be safe, because one of the reasons they cited in not being able to go ahead with the allocation of the homes today is that they say they could not guarantee the safety of the two elderly women given the amount of anger and frustration from the residents there at Savanna City. So until such time that the allocation is able to go ahead and the keys are handed over and both women are moved into their homes safely, she will have to be living in this structure behind me. And she tells me that neighbors are in fact the people that are giving her food, because she cooks outside, and when it rains she was not able to cook. So the people around here, in fact this morning, they were also gathered here excited for Umakulu to move into her new home. She went to have coffee with one of the neighbors. So this entire community is in fact looking after her.
Zikhona, Tshona, thank you very much for that update from Orange Farm.